Hi, everybody. My name is Irina, your host for your podcast From Zero to 100. And I am here with Ravi Kumar Sapata, who has been a product leader for most of his life, building products for a host of Silicon Valley companies like Autodesk, Oracle, Computer Associates. In the later part of his life, he chose to work in smaller startups to be able to build one for himself. His work has led him to work in 5 different countries in 3 different continents. Today, he is on the way to build the only global B2B platform for real estate industry. And we're gonna jump into it, talk about what it's like to create a B2B social media type of thing, and also discuss his mindset around how to build yourself as a person, how to grow from your product leader position to becoming an entrepreneur, and much more. So welcome, Ravi.
Thank you so much, Irina. As we were just catching up before this podcast, I have been a podcaster myself, but I have always taken the easier route. That means I have always been the host, asking a ton of questions. In the last several years, I would have interviewed around 400 to 500 people, but asking questions is the easiest bit, and I'm quite up for the challenge to be on the other side and see how much I can contribute to you and your audience.
Very excited to have you here and happy to change notes and get your feedback after this. So let's start with the basics. I would like to tell you more a bit how you started PropTech Buzz and what kind of gap in the market we're trying to fill.
So I have always been a person who needs inspiration in life. If I am in a phase where I am out of inspiration, it just makes me uneasy. I can't be myself when there is nothing pulling me towards direction, right? And all through my life, it has been that I have been in phases where I lacked inspiration. But I am very easy to be inspired because I find inspiration from just about anything around me. So while I was on this phase, what I do is I go and hang out with people who are doing awesome things. And the best way to do that is to go and talk to people who are doing awesome things is through podcasts. So I'd go out and seek invitations from other entrepreneurs who are building awesome things and started doing that as a podcast. And that's where most of the energy rubbed onto me. And it just helps you, right? You are the sum or average of 5 people you hang out with. So when you're only interviewing entrepreneurs in your podcast, you are bound to become an entrepreneur yourself. And I knew that, and that's why I did that. And eventually it became because I could not stop myself from taking the plunge eventually. But where, what idea, what should I build, right? And that's when I was running another podcast because I was a head of product in one of the biggest prop tech companies in Europe. At that time, PropTech caught my fancy, and that's when I started another podcast called PropTech Buzz, where I interviewed more than 200 podcast founders and CEOs and investors around the globe in the hope that I catch something meaningful to build myself. And it happened, right? So eventually what I realized was by having these deep conversations, I realized that why isn't there an Amazon for global real estate to shop for technologies? There isn't one. Yes, there are pockets here and there. There are some local listings, or you will see somebody coming up with a PDF for the market map of their country. But where is that one place where you go, which is the Amazon for global real estate, where real estate goes and shops for technologies, find itself and is able to compare and contrast, download fact sheets, able to have conversations with the head of sales, head of marketing, or the founders within the platform. So that was the genesis of the idea, and that's where we set out to build that. But I also knew that I had to build something more. And that's when I came across the concept of compound startups, which is building multiple use cases together so that you build a really cohesive ecosystem, which becomes your moat. And that's when I said it's not going to be just Amazon for product technologies, real estate technologies. It has to be a community driven platform. So we also said, let's build the Reddit for global PropTech real estate professionals, where they can come in and engage and participate in different forums on topics under for real estate. We also said, okay, it could also be a platform where it becomes an angel list for PropTech startups and VCs to come together and matchmake. The other one was we wanted to also become the Netflix like platform where real estate educational courses can be found, because this industry, every industry needs people to upskill themselves. So where would they go? So that's where we also built a global Netflix like a platform where you could search for whether it is commercial real estate, whether it's residential real estate, whether it's ESG, how do you upskill yourself? You find those courses on our platform. So yeah, as you know, we were solving a very big problem, which would help me intellectually stimulated and help me inspired. And I am glad that I finally got one, and I'm on that journey now.
So going back to your podcast, basically when you started and you said you talked to over 500 people, how was your process to getting in contact to so many people? How did you run your process? And I'm asking this for myself as well. How do you start? Because this is like a very good way to not just get ideas to build something lasting, but also to make connections.
It's an awesome way to bring a lot of leverage into your life. And you know what? I raised $500,000. Most of them were my past guests on my podcast. So I never knew this would happen, though there was no motive behind doing the podcast, but it eventually happened because as Steve Jobs said, the dots always connect backwards, right? So when I started, I think I told you before this podcast, when I started podcast close to 14 years ago, I was very scared. At that time, podcast was a new phenomenon, and I had a very good niche to catch on to. I was doing podcast on product management, so I used to interview product leaders from around the world. I was one of the first few who did that, and it started getting a lot of traction. At that time, I did it only to satisfy my curiosity and build my network. I did not have the self-awareness or the strategy to market it well and build it into something big. Glad I didn't do that because I could have been stuck there and not build what I'm building today. But it was just a podcast where I would just call people and have these conversations that would stimulate my intellectual curiosity. But then that's how it happened. Then from it started with product management, and gradually I shifted into business podcast. That means I started interviewing founders and CEOs because I thought that would be a much wider gamut to talk about. And then it happened on the PropTech Buzz because I wanted to build something in the PropTech industry. And you asked me what was the strategy. So strategy was, yes, when you are a new podcaster, it's very hard to get the marquee speakers, right? It's very hard because everybody would ask, okay, how many downloads, how many plays and stuff like that. So when you're new, it does not happen. So what do? You go and talk to your friends who are doing well for themselves, and just reach out to them, and then you gradually raise the bar, right? And they would recommend somebody else and somebody else, and you start with the director and then the VP and eventually the CEO. That's how it happened. And once my product lessons podcast became gradually popular, I could then reach out to anybody and everybody. But on the entrepreneurial circles, there are so many entrepreneurs around. In fact, I would talk to just about everybody because everybody has a story. You do not have to talk to the Fortune 500 CEO or a founder. You can talk to a fellow founder who has been able to build a sustainable business. There's so much to learn from anybody who has been able to get rid of his job and build a sustainable business. So I never discriminated between a big founder, interviewing a big founder or a small one, because for me, I had immense respect for anybody. While I had a job, I had immense respect and envy for anybody who has been able to build a sustainable small business and is able to get rid of his day job. And I was doing it to learn and get inspiration from that.
What I take from your answer is like, if you want to start something, if you go with the goal to learn and be curious about something, you can grow your network that will eventually repay you for the fact that you brought them value at some point, like you did right now with
that's
your
true,
podcast.
because if you have been a good host, if you have given them ample respect and a platform, okay, you have been nice to your guests. Always be nice to your guests. I mean, we know this saying, right? People remember not what you did to them, but how you made them feel, right? So this is your
Exactly.
opportunity. This is your opportunity to leave a lasting impression. Just imagine you are getting a dedicated hour-long time from a CEO or a founder, which otherwise you try to cold email him and get his. What are the chances of him giving you time? This is such
Absolutely.
a big leverage that you are getting 1 hour of time, and that 1 hour, if you are being really nice to him, he will remember you for the rest of your life, right? So it's
Agree.
such a you can increase your network balance over time, your karma balance over time. It will all pay back because when you need them, you reach out to them and they will come back. So some of my investors in my existing company, they're all there because they knew, oh, this is the guy who started with a podcast and he asked really curious questions, and today he has been able to build on those inspiration and actually act and build a business. So they will bet for you. They will they will back you. That's how it is.
It's very interesting to see your background, like from a podcaster to product manager, and how you leverage that into PropTech Buzz. So my next question for you is like, what strategies have helped you to scale your platform's reach and engagement? Because since last time we talked, and Ravi is launching a very interesting product, especially if you work in the PropTech or real estate space, you will be interested into it. But the fact that they managed to rank in terms of like prop tech number one, it's very impressive. So congrats on that. But how has it helped you to do that?
Yeah, so I always, not always, after I started my business in the last 1.5 years of what we have built, 2 years for me because the world knows us since 1.5 years, but the ideation happened 6 months ago. So 2 years ago, when I built this, I knew nothing about building a startup, right? And I'm very happy to see where we have arrived. So one of the things that I have realized is being under constraint, cash constrained, bootstrapped is a gift, not a handicap. All right, because then you are creative. When you have a lot of cash, when you are flushed with money and capital, you tend to become lazy because you go the traditional route and you hire people and you just pump in money in the hope that this would all materialize into growth and success. But it's not like that. When you're cash strapped, you become even more creative and you think of ways, creative ways on how to grow and still win. And again, if you look in the annals of history, you will find the winners have always been the ones who were underdogs, who had all the conditions that were acting against them. It's not the ones who had a lot of cash. Okay, so it's always being creative, it's always being finding the right problem to solve and able to find your way out. So that's exactly what applied to us, because we just raised money, but since the last 1.5 years it was all uh, ground up with our own bootstrap. So what worked for us is learning deeply about the space that we are acting in and finding a problem that nobody else is solving for. Okay, uh, it's very hard because it's very hard to find an opportunity where you're solving nobody else is solving for. Most entrepreneurs, they jump into a me too sort of a race where they see that market and the trend and they see that where is the capital flowing, where is the say VC or investment capital flowing, and they just follow the herd. That becomes a handicap because everybody is doing that, so you are just playing me too, right? I did not want to play that race. I wanted to see where is that area where nobody is playing. Okay, you know about the red ocean, right? A blue ocean strategy, right? So I had a few ideas when I started pitching to some of the investors early on. And the best thing that you could do is always pitch to investors when you have an idea at that stage. Yes, investors don't understand your soul, but you know what? Why pitching to investors early on is a good thing is you can see whose attention you're able to catch with your story. And that's a very good filter. So I had some bad ideas where nobody looked at my deck. But later, when I changed my story, there are some people who looked at my deck and said, "A great direction, talk to me in a year's time." Right? but
Okay.
but the earlier plans, they didn't even look at it. So when nobody looks at it, it's a good filter saying that yeah, you might have a bad idea. So talking about traction, how did we achieve traction? So one thing that we did really well was we played a good social media game. We in this noisy world, you have to be creative in terms of how you tell your story and how to catch attention of the world. And one of the things we are really good at is upping our SEO game. So my team and us come from background where we are good with SEO. That means how do we create the right content strategy so that it gets the kind of traffic that we got. And being a niche also, PropTech, yes, PropTech has been for some time, but still there's nobody who was acting on a content side to dominate this. And that's why we honed our skills and became a big SEO player by creating really good content on SEO. I wanted to build a media business out of it as a vertical, and that's exactly how it helped us because we got a lot of content strategy right, and as a result, we are today number one when it comes to PropTech news. We are number two when it comes to PropTech trends. We are number one locally. That means if you search for PropTech UAE, we are number one. PropTech Australia, we are number one. PropTech New Zealand, we are number one. And eventually we'll be number one for all the countries. So it's a matter of time.
That's crazy. And congrats, because it's very hard to do that. So I wanted to go back and do like a small recap. It's a thing that goes around in the market, and probably nowadays is more common, like to embrace being bootstrapped, because money is just the means to an end. It's not the end. And there is this story. Are you familiar with Rocky Balboa? Sylvester Stallone had a very similar story. Like, he was very broke when he wrote Rocky, and he wanted to produce it and star in it. And he went to every producer and said, hey, I want to produce, but I want to star in it. And they were like, no, the idea is great, but you're not going to star in it because you're not very camera friendly. True. And he said, you know what? A man that doesn't have anything to lose will hold on to his idea because he already knows he doesn't have anything to lose. True. And I feel like this is a kind of mindset that usually bootstrap founders have it.
Yes.
And I relate to it. Sure, capital is important because sometimes you need to scale your business faster. Yes. Once you understand how things are going. Yes. The second part is like, you need to be creative without spending a lot of money. It's very interesting how you guys leverage SEO. Right. I leveraged social media ads because I thought that professionals I was targeting are not that much on LinkedIn, and I was right about it. And in terms of like the SEO, that is very impressive, and I know it takes a lot. I'm gonna share with you after this. There is this founder, if you heard about him, Sam Korkos, in the company Levels. If not, I'm gonna follow up with you on it. And he said that they do like a CGM monitor, a health tech industry. It's very difficult to make a product that's marketable. And what he said interesting there was like, we want to build a community. We're building SEOs through our podcast. And it's important to be present in social media because who can sell your product better than you do it, right? Okay. So that is very interesting. So congrats on that. And we can all learn from you on the SEO. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions around it. But having built products from 0 to 1 and from 1 to 100, what do you think it's the biggest lesson that you've learned about, launching products, scaling tech products, scaling PropTech Buzz?
So first thing for entrepreneurial success is I was sharing this with one of my friends just yesterday, is that the biggest mistake you could do is to build on a smaller vision. And this has been my biggest lesson in life. That means if you're building something, whether you're building on a small vision or a huge vision, anyways going to suck the life out of you, anyways going to consume all the time, and it's going to be hard anyways. So if it's going to be hard anyways, why not chase a bigger vision, right? That has been my biggest principle in life, and that's exactly why I'm building on a very big vision. I'm building a compound startup. Usually people build either a job board or a job listing site, or they will create a marketplace, or they will create a learning management system. I'm trying to combine all of them together in the hope that I'm building a huge ecosystem, which will be $1 billion company, right? So that was clearly the case, a filter for me. Is this vision, is the ambition big enough? And many people do not do that. And there is an upside to that. If you are building on a huge pedestal, if you're climbing a huge mountain, the competition is going to be far less than trying to chase or climb a smaller hill. Because if you're trying to climb a smaller hill, you will find a lot of people who are also climbing that hill as there's more competition. But if you set out your eyes to climb the Mount Everest, you will have far fewer people to give you competition. Many people do not realize this because they always feel, especially the first time entrepreneurs, let me build a small company first. I will get an exit, and then I will build something big on top. And then after that, so they have a 30-year plan. They are looking for an exit. They want to make a few $1 million within the next 3-5 years. So for me, it was not that, because anyways, I started late in my life. I want to compensate for the lost time by building something really, really huge. So that is one. And also what happens is when you're building on a bigger vision, it gets people excited around you. So that means you get your investors excited. You get to hire great talent because they get to see, oh, this is massive. I would like to be part of such a story. And the other mindset that I have for entrepreneurial success and growth is, no matter how inconsequential your past has been, you might not been into Ivy League colleges, universities, you might not have worked in the best of the companies, but that's inconsequential because you can still build a glorious future. And I believe in the deepest of my heart that I might not have great past, but my future is going to be awesome and it's going to be the best. And I'm building $1 billion company, and I feel that every day when I wake up. That's very important. And as you can see, I am an ardent student of positive psychology. I firmly believe that your mind can perceive and believe it can do, it can achieve. So that is very, very true. Also, the last one is, are you operating at a level that stretches the limits of your potential? Because usually you can chase a smaller goal and a bigger goal, right? So when you're chasing a very ambitious goal, the fruits are not just achieving that goal, but it's also about the person you are becoming in pursuit of that goal. As I said, I might not be making all the money now, but my network has grown. Earlier, I had my peers into product people. Today, my peers are only CEOs. I get to spend weekends where there are other CEOs who call me for a beer or for coffee because they are interested in building what I'm building. So as a result, what's happening is my growth is getting accelerated, right? That's why an entrepreneurial journey is really great, because it stretches the limits of your potential. I wrote a quote for myself that sums my life's philosophy, and it says, if you're not maximizing the limits of your potential, you are betraying the purpose of your life. And it ties down to the story of always try to chase the biggest goal, because that's how the saddest story of human life is. Before you die, you have realized that you have not maximized. There was still a lot of potential that lay hidden that you could not maximize it. So these are some of the mindsets that have been critical in my journey, because I've seen that most people do not have the right mindset. And that's why they either give up or they're playing a smaller game and stuff like that. So those has been the mindset side of things that have helped me build what I'm building, Irina.
That's very nice to hear, and I can relate to it a lot. But I want to go back to your idea a bit. Like you said, and it was one of my questions as well, what is one of the common mistakes startups make? So basically, not building on a huge vision.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, how do you balance this? Let's say you never started the company, right? And you want to build something. How do you reach that vision? Do you iterate on it? Do you know it from the start? How you do not get lost in the process? Because for some people, and I tell you this in my experience, I have a big vision as well, but for some people that is intimidating, and for some people it's like it causes a feeling like you're paralyzed, and it prevents you for taking action. So how do you balance that out? Do you understand my question? I've
I
seen that
completely
happen.
understand my question, and I have an answer for, because of my privilege. Okay, there is a privilege. So you might see, privilege. Ravi is talking about privilege. Yes, I have a. I got lucky 14 years ago, where I got a mentor in my life who is hugely influential, multi-million-dollar entrepreneur who sits on the board and advises with a portfolio of $700 million portfolio company, has had several exits in his lifetime. He's called the spark plug of Silicon Valley. I'm talking about Rajesh Sethi. Many people do not know, but I wrote a post dedicating my gratitude for him. It went viral. So you talked about that entrepreneurial courage to chase something big. If you have never done something in your life, how can you suddenly do something really, really big, right? Elon Musk can imagine sending rockets to the space because he built PayPal. He had a few strings of successes so that he could then build the next big thing, right? But if you are a newbie and if you're building something, it's very, very scary to build something right away. But I had this mentor, and because I had his backing, I never had the fear, because I would always test my capacity of thinking big. I would always, in fact, when I said that, I clearly remember I messaged him saying that I want to build the biggest competitor to LinkedIn. Will I be able to do it? He would say, of course you are able to do it if you can stick to that vision. And because he's so influential and I had access to him, he would make me give me all the help. He would never give me easy help. I would have to earn his access. Okay, so that means you test me. You'd see if I have the willingness and the seriousness to do that. So that is one thing that I would encourage entrepreneurs to have, is to build a set of mentors so that they can protect you and they can give you all the wherewithals when you are out setting out to build something big for yourself. That helped me because I knew this man, and he was very, very generous. He's the most generous person that I've met. Okay, I just got lucky. because I knew whenever I need his help, he will be there for me. And today, while I'm building PropTech Buzz, there are a lot like him who have joined. So I've created a sort of a mentor club. So whether I'm raising at the right valuation, whether should I hire the right advisory board, if I'm doing my franchisee, are my terms right or wrong? So I'm getting a lot of help that way. So to answer your questions, how to get rid of that fear, have a support system around you. It's very hard, but hey, podcasts, I always tell people, do two things. One is start a podcast where you talk to people who are far more successful than you, because you're building your network. Second is listen to this podcast called Founders. Have you heard of this podcast called Founders? So it's a very popular podcast, and I listen to that. It is a historical context of all the big founders in the yesteryears. Okay, so the Rockefellers of the world, the the big businesses, billionaires of the world, how did they build? So you listen to that, you program your mind, and you build that entrepreneurial courage, and then you have real people around you. So it's a mix of all of that that helps you build the courage of building something big, and you're not lost.
I relate to this a lot. I don't think you can build something specifically on your own. You need a support system and people to believe or, give you feedback on your ideas. How would, in your relationship with the mentor, because I assume it did not get from the get-go in the start, like he said, okay, here's my network, here's everything, I'll tell you everything. How did you build that relationship and that trust so you unlock the next level of relationship, if that makes sense?
I do not know. I feel that I'm getting emotional talking about this because I just got lucky. So here is what happened. Okay, as I said, I find inspiration all around me. So I found this guy who had his website where he used to write awesome content about life, about a philosophy, about success, and I used to read it. And then on one fine day, 14 years ago, I just took my chance. I just added him on Facebook and dropped him a message. After a week, I get a reply, and I clearly remember I was in my office. I got a reply.
It's crazy.
Saying that call me back at this number. He gave me his number. I might have said something that he felt special. I always tried to I tried to get attention of successful people. Okay, somehow sincerely though. Okay, not out of any. I did not want to be a smart aleck, but sincere appreciation, because I would say I read 50 of your blog posts, and I think I have not seen a thinker as original as you. I'm giving you an example. I don't remember what exactly I said. This is a sincere, this is not flattery. And he read that, he gave me his number, and he said, call me back. I just dropped him a message, and he called me, and he had a conversation for 1 hour with me. Okay, and I'm telling you, I'm a nobody. I was a technical writer at that time. Okay, I was a documentation guy that I used to write technical documents. I was a nobody. He gave me the gift of his attention for an hour. At that time, I was toying with the idea whether or not to start a podcast, and he pushed me, saying that start a podcast. Asking questions is the easiest thing. If you have to answer it, it's the hardest part. And that's when I started the podcast, and ever since I have gotten in touch. I would send him. So I got lucky because not everybody is as generous as him. Okay, but what these people do is they usually spot the most successful people are always looking to pick people up and groom them, and because that gives them high, right? Today he's very happy that I have grown from that guy who was unsure of how to start a podcast. After that, I've done 500 episodes. I've done a lot in my life, but it just gives him happiness. And he tells me that the best gift that you can give me is to out perform me, or to be a bigger success than who am I today. So it's the power of finding the right mentors is very, very important. And the best way to do it is I've had him twice in my podcast as well. So he would say that always be surrounded by these mentors and try to give them value, because no matter how powerful they are, how successful they are, they would still need help. So offer them help, do something pro bono for them, do something nice for them, bring them on a podcast, create a nice viral video about them, make them look good in the market. If you are creative, if you really want to add value, you can do that. And that way what happens is it's all about value exchange. If they see that you are adding value, they will eventually help you and take you under their wing and help you grow. And so that my story has been like that ever since. not just with him, but a lot of other people. But to be very frank, there are very few mentors who will be as generous as Rajesh. So I got lucky in that aspect. But that's how it is. That's how the world is.
Well, my biggest takeaway from this, and I can vouch to it, is to take your shot. If you
Thank you,
don't
sir.
take your shot and ask people for help,
Yeah.
or ask people, do you know how I can get here and there, you're never gonna get your answer. And sometimes I'm gonna be on the opposite spectrum. I did not get lucky, but I kissed a lot of frogs till I get to.
You have to kiss a lot of frogs, and also don't just kiss frogs. Try to build something so that you gain their respect, right? So you have to hustle. If you're not doing anything, you're just wasting that time, right? Hey, I need your time. No, why would they give that time to you? If they have given 10 minutes of that time and they said, hey, come talk to me in 6 months, build this. Did you build this? Did you act on their feedback? That's how it happens today. Some of my mentors who are actively helping me build this company did not even were not sparing even 1 minute when I met them 2 years ago. 2 years ago, they would see me as they would not give me the attention, but they asked me to act on a few things, and they saw me acting, and they would come back and said, hey, you asked me to do this, I have done this. Now they see that, oh, you're serious. They would give you another task, and then you do that, and you come back to them, say that, hey, I did this as well. So everybody is testing whether you're serious or not. And Rajesh has this term, phrase, he calls it a welcome hurdle. So what he does is, because he's so influential, he gets a lot of these unsolicited emails and messages asking for his time. He cannot give everybody's time, but he has to also find that diamond in the rough. Who are those serious ones that he needs to give his attention to, right? So
Yeah,
what he creates is he creates welcome hurdle, where he would give them a really hard task to do before they
that's
can
interesting.
get his access. So, say somebody would, because he has written more than 25 books published, many people would write to them, hey, I want to be an author, can you help me how to be an author? He would never give them time. He would give them a form which has 30 pages of text to fill. Okay, if somebody is really serious about his feedback, they would go through the rigor of filling those 30 pages. Then he has filtered this out. He has given them the welcome hurdle, and they have been able to pass that hurdle, and they are the genuine ones he's gonna gift his attention to.
That's
So
smart.
yeah, so these are some of the things they do, and eventually I will want to pass on those messages. I would also want to take people under my wings. In fact, I'm doing that. I have a lot of interns who have joined me. They all want to build their businesses, and I'm doing the same for them as well.
That is amazing, and I can vouch for it. There are people in this world who can be very generous just because they see something in you and that see that you're trying or trying to do something
Yeah,
different.
yeah,
And this has been my experience coming to New York. When I first came here, I didn't know anybody,
yeah.
and I just shoot my shot, asked people. Some people replied, some didn't, but some of them are willing to help you, and some of them are willing to spend time with you and for you to deliver and come back with news every time. So it's important to keep people updated. So coming back to this, because you built the podcast, you built PropTech Buzz, but something that you do very well, and I appreciate it a lot, you post a lot on LinkedIn. Every time I see you there, like you tag me with other founders and you write about events that happen on PropTech Buzz and also your personal inspiration. How do you blend that in your time? Like you're a startup founder, you need to do a million things in your case. How do you handle the content creation aspect? Like, posting the content because it's very hard for people to get started.
Social media is such a powerful tool today because it gives you, without paying hundreds, thousands of dollars to go into a radio show or to a TV channel. Today, you have the power to broadcast your ideas and reach to millions, right? And that is what and it's free of cost. So if it's free of cost, it gives you influence, and it works because I've seen it works. We grew to 25,000 followers on LinkedIn, our PropTech Buzz, because we posted a lot of content, right? And it is a great tool of influence. So you get it's a high leverage thing as well, right? So if you, by account of posting something sincerely and also adding value to the community, if you are able to get people to trust you, it's a trust building exercise. Okay, all business is all about whether you are able to gain trust of your prospects and convert them into loyal customers. And the only way to do it is adding value. If you're only doing it to add noise, nobody's gonna listen to you. They would able to differentiate between what is noise and what is signal, right? So if you really want to add, if you want to grow, you have to add as much value to the world, to your prospect, to your target audience, and then gradually they would trust you, and they would, it's about becoming accustomed to you. People like to do businesses with people that they know and are familiar with. Okay,
I agree.
if you are a newbie, they will not do. And this is the age, day and age. If you're a founder, the concept of founder brand is so true. People need to trust you, people need to like you, people need to believe in what you're doing. And the best way to do is to take complete control of that brand in your hand. And you don't have to be you don't have to be like I'm an Asian, I come from India, I do not have the finest. So when I look at people from UK, okay, I might not have the finest and the charisma for being a great speaker on a podcast. But if you're sincere, if your words are sincere, if they ring true, it will connect with your audience, and then eventually they will turn into customers. And that's why I do it, because I top of the mind is, how do you say that? Top of the mind is top of the, yeah. If you're out of mind, you're out of
Sight.
something of that sort. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Uh,
it's very important.
I saw on your LinkedIn profile that you said you have the ability to have crucial conversations. So, what do you think there are some crucial questions that entrepreneurs should ask themselves nowadays?
What does usually conversation is meant to be between two people engaging, right? What I have learned lately is conversations can be listening as well. So for me, I was just mentioning to you that I spent this weekend with a very influential woman in PropTech, and I can tell you, I wish I could have somehow noted it down, but 95% of the conversation was from her, and I would have contributed to 5% of that, and I do that consciously because earlier I used to speak a lot, but now I have taken this stance in my life that I need to be a better listener, because a better listener is a better conversationalist. There is this book that I would recommend. It's from Susan Scott. It's called Fierce Conversations, and the core message of the book can be summarized as this: while there is no guarantee that any single conversation can change the trajectory of your life, career, business, or relationship, any single conversation can. So, what is that conversation that has your name on it? While there's no guarantee that the conversation we are having today will have any significant consequence in your life or in my life, but you never know that it can have a significance in your life. So, do you have an imprint on that conversation? Do you have your name on that conversation? So it's one of the influential books, and that's why today I am very measured in what I speak, because everything that you speak has a consequence, and that's why I speak less and listen more. In fact, this afternoon I take mentorship sessions with influential people. So there is this person called Krishna Panikar. He's my mentor. He's an advisor to us and investor, because he has been he's seen three exits in his lifetime. He's been an ex-executive in Microsoft, in Skype. I'm a busy CEO. I'm a busy founder, but I still carve out time just to listen to him as he's helping me out to navigate through my business. And why do I do that? I have my colleagues calling, I have my team calling me, and I don't take, I protect my time, because the kind of conversations that I'm having with him, I'm missing it because I'm out of my corporate life since last three years, and I'm building with a bunch of newbies, okay, or interns, and I crave for these conversations from professionals. So this is exactly, and this conversation, I do not have the bandwidth, but I'm still having this conversation because I crave for this conversation, and that's very important for me. So to answer your question, what kind of conversations are important for me? So these days I've matured to have more conversations where I'm listening and gaining more, and speaking less. If I answered your question.
I agree. Everybody should be a better listener, and I think if you learn how to listen and listen to your customers, you can build a better product. So
Yeah,
definitely. I wanted to go back. It's like we have two more questions. Can you tell me more about PropTech Buzz? what are you preparing next? I know we talked about it in a video call. I'm not sure how much we can talk about it on the podcast,
Sure.
but I wanted to hear it from you because it's very much related to having conversations, community, support system, and having a global network of this.
As I mentioned, we are building a compound startup. A compound startup is very different than what conventional wisdom from VCs and investors are. VCs and investors say, solve a small problem, a niche, do it so well, nobody else does it, and then expand to other areas, right? That's what they would say. They would scale in one small problem and then expand. But the ground is shifting, the narrative is shifting, and people are now talking about compound startups, because if you're solving a one niche, anybody can replace you. But if you solve the entire gamut of problem, okay, when you're becoming solving a suite of problem into a suite of products and becoming a platform, you have a bigger moat that you can protect yourself. Okay, so this is an alternative view, and which I'm a big fan of, and that's exactly why we are building a compound startup. And since we are building a compound startup with so many use cases, it was important to learn that we cannot solve everything at a time. Okay, as I told you, we are building a global LinkedIn like job board. We are building a Netflix like platform to to provide courses and curriculums for the global real estate industry. We are building a marketplace for real estate to find products. We are building Reddit like forums to have conversations across any topic under real estate. So we are solving a lot of problems. But how do you solve? You cannot solve everything with such limited resource. So we did a slice and dice, and the first problem we solved was to build a ground up architecture for communities, builders to run their communities. So what we are doing is, and I think I also proposed it to you, that we are proud to say that we have built the world's best community infrastructure for anyone in real estate to build their own communities. Okay, and and we are also building the world's best learning management system. So if you are a community builder, we help you, because LinkedIn does not have a community. Yes, there are groups, but it does not have any of the features. So we are offering them features to have a discussion board, to have a chat stream. That means your community members could be able to chat or discuss on a discussion board. Then you can have sub channels, so you can divide your conversations into different sub communities. You can offer them a paid membership, right? So because we are also helping you monetize your community, and that is something that we are offering. We offer you to give you premium courses to your community members, a calendar to have the events so that you can have all the webinars, whether it is physical or virtual. And then you can also sell services, like you can offer them ebooks so people can use the Stripe or any other payment gateway. So primarily what we are doing is we are helping anybody who has a follower or who is building a WhatsApp group maybe, to convert them into run meaningfully and professionally managed communities. So from a 10 people community to a 10,000 people community. And the other thing that we are also solving is we are now talking to corporates. We are talking to corporates because the world is shifting. Gone are the days where you can sell your product just by having a landing page and a webinar, and not nurturing your prospects, not nurturing your consumers or your customers in an engaged community. And that is why we are telling them, hey, we will help you build your community. This is the infrastructure. Put a button on your website, say join our community, and this community becomes a place where they are going to learn, because it's all about consultative selling today. You cannot, especially in PropTech, it's about consultative, because this industry is so new and the technology is changing so fast. Everybody needs consultation, everybody needs dialogue, and this is where we help them with their community. And glad to speak that we are working with one of the largest NASDAQ listed public companies in building them the world's largest community for crypto in real estate community. Just today, we are helping Africa Valuation Conference build the largest valuation professionals community on the platform. So similarly, we are just building communities of communities, and that has been our biggest bet. And after we solve for this, from end of March, we will be again going and building the marketplace. So there are more than 150 product categories in real estate. So you will be able to go to every category, whether it is property management software, whether it is commercial management, lease management software, whether it is ESG, whether it is construction software, more than 150 categories, we will be able to have those products onto the platform. And the way we have done this is we are doing this with we have franchised our business. That means we are going and giving this business, handing over our business to franchise leaders in every country. And that's the best way to penetrate faster into the markets, because PropTech Buzz will be run in these different countries. So we can penetrate deeper and get these products onto our platform and have the biggest portfolio of products globally. So these are some of the things that I'm really, really excited about. But if you ask me, by the way, if you ask me about my platform and my product, I'll keep talking because there's so many things.
It's amazing, and I'm excited to be working together. We've worked in the past, like we did a podcast together, and
Yes,
we're gonna do
yes.
more. So, in case you're a real estate professional, you know somebody who's a real estate professional, does work in PropTech construction and many more, you should go on PropTech Buzz and check it out and see the communities there and get listed if you can. And my final question for you: to grow from 0 to 100, you need to, and you fill out this question.
Yeah, so I'm not qualified to talk about 0 to 100. Okay, so 0 to 1, 1 to 10 maybe. Okay. Uh, when I reach to 100, I do not claim, if I've not done myself, I will never attempt to even answer that. But as I said, take let me give you an example. Okay, so as I said, don't ever feel that just because you are short of cash, you are short of creativity. Okay, don't be lazy. If the world has enough free tools and avenues for you to go to have a great product launch, even if you are a one member team. I'll give you an example there. Okay, what we do is, when we launched our app 6 months ago, we did not have the money. We had enough money to build one of the best product promo video. It's all about creativity. Okay, you just get into a room, get your team members, workshop out on how that product video should be. Videos do an amazing job to catch attention. For all founders, all I would ask you is to become great and how to get attention. Of course, that is not enough, but that is a start, right? If you're not able to catch attention in a attention deficit world today, you're screwed. So to get attention, you have to know how to stand out in a crowded marketplace today. So one of the things that we did consistently well is, when we launched PropTech Buzz 1.5 years ago, our promo video went viral. When we launched the app a year later, our promo video went viral. So we know how to do good marketing videos. That is number one. Our videos will get attention. Number two is, whenever we have a launch day, we convert that into a mini festival. Okay, so we make a lot of noise. We do a countdown on all our social media: 5 days to go, 4 days to go, 3 days to go, and we then convert them into a LinkedIn event where we invite a lot of chief guests from around the world, and we convert that into a panel discussion, and we promote that event, and so that lots of people are signing for that event, and we do live stream of that event, so it becomes sort of a celebration, like an event, and that helps you catch a lot of attention. Those are some of the things that we did. That's the best way to do. So we are with experience, I can say I'm proud that I know how to do a great product launch. And that's why in our platform also, a lot of PropTech companies come to us and we help them do a great launch. Because on our platform, if you launch a product, we are just like Product Hunt for real estate. You launch your product and people come and upvote it, and we ensure that there's a lot of you're getting a lot of leeway, you're getting a lot of attention, and then we write articles about you and stuff like that. That is one thing. Now, since we are getting some funding, we are also able to invest into writing good press releases. So we got ourselves covered in Business Insider, which called us the next big thing in global PropTech to advance the PropTech ecosystem and stuff like this. So gradually, as you have more funds, you can be more traditional. But as I said, you do not have to be constrained just because you have lack of time. Okay, if you have creative, you can do that. The next is, so that is how you launch. And post launch, one of the best things that we did, I will give you another tactic, because I do not want to just limit it to some superficial thing. I will give you examples on how we did. So whenever we were launching product categories, we used to create that into a festival. Okay, so a product category has say 100 players, say property management software in the US, top 100 players. What we used to do is we used to create a very attractive poster where we would take 15 random companies and we would deliberately lose out, remove some other companies, important companies, and we used to promote it on LinkedIn, the top PropTech or top property management software from US, and we would tag all those 15, 20 companies, and we would deliberately remove some other companies, and it would be a big show on LinkedIn. It was great, attractive poster tagging, and everybody saying thank you for listing us in this list and stuff like that. So what would happen is all their competitors who would note them, they would see their names missing, and they would all write to us, hey, why did you not cover us? We are bigger than the ones that you have listed. And
That's
and then we would
crazy.
say, oh, sorry about that. Do one thing, be our guest. Why don't you list yourself? And then they would all run in and then they would start listing. So this was a very creative way where we got these products listed for these categories.
I love it.
And now we have paused because our focus went to the communities, but you will notice us, okay?
Yes.
You will notice us that from March end, we'll start doing that for 150 categories, okay?
That's
I hope they
amazing.
don't listen to this piece of advice. All I'm saying is you have to just be creative. With
Yes.
this, we could get more than 1,000 products listed on our platform, and we have not spent. I'm so proud to say we have not spent a single marketing money on ads, on paid content and stuff like that.
I
All
love
has
it.
all of that has been organic growth for us.
I love it. I love it. So, Ravi, thank you so much. This has been super inspiring. So, from 0 to 100, don't be lazy, be creative, regardless if you have money or not. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.
Thanks, Irina.